Welcome everybody to another edition here of WCW 2005 here in TEW 2020. But before we go, of course, this is the 8th day of the 31 days of May. So again, 31 days of content. Two things I want to point out right at the beginning here. First, I've changed the recording to mono only because a couple people have said that there's been something weird where they've only been able to hear in the left earbud. I checked, on my end, it doesn't sound any different in my earbuds, but if it's going to sound weird, and it doesn't sound that much different for me when I record mono and stereo, so since the quality doesn't seem that much off, I'm just going to roll with it and see how it goes. Again, if this is worse, then again, let me know, and we'll go from there, but hopefully it's not that bad. At least I won't have 5 or 6 videos where people say the same thing like there is with this. But hey, again, odder things have happened. But let's go on to our actual show here. Oh, and second thing is, on one of my upcoming videos, the second Journey of Wrestling, it'll say it's day 21. That's because I've made a change to the schedule after I did record that video, so just sort of ignore that, Honestly, I would cut the video if it wasn't that much more annoying. But anyway, off to the actual show, which I'm sure you're all waiting for here. So, of course, we're live from the beautiful Landover Capitol Center, just a few miles down the road from DC, which where Slamboree was last night, and we start out with the Triumvirate coming out as Billy Kidman is still your WCW World Heavyweight Champion, and of course, Awesome Storm won Assault of Anarchy 2 last night, which the announcers put over as they come down to the ring, and Kidman takes the mic to the boos of the crowd as it gets an 84, and he says, "For weeks, I've been hearing about how I'm a paper champion. Well, last night, just down the road in DC, in front of a crowd that was filled to the brim with people who want to see me fail, just like there is tonight, what they saw instead was greatness personified. RVD was world champion for a reason, but I'm just that much better. And last night, I proved that in the ring, going nearly half an hour, move for move, hold for hold, going back and forth, and coming out on top. And now, nobody, not a soul, can question this belt. It means I'm the best wrestler in the business. You don't have to like it, but it is the damn truth." And that wasn't the only great thing about it last night. Last night, Mike Awesome, Lance Storm, the best technical wrestler in the business, and the true heir to Extreme in professional wrestling, proved why they've been tag team champions before, and why they're the new WCW World Tag Team Champions, as they took apart everybody in Assault of Anarchy and walked out as the champions. Now tonight, in all his wisdom, Bischoff decided to put me and Awesome together against the U.S. champion and Brother Rey. A man who used to be part of a tag team of people who pretended to be on mine and Lance's level, and a guy who got outsmarted by the chosen few. Hey, that's competition on Nitro. By the time we're back here for the Bash at the Beach, that Dork Sidell might be the number one contender. You have to realize this is our time now. We are the Triumvirate, and we run World Championship Wrestling. Big boost for that. This gets an 84, and we basically set up our main event, which, again, the announcers put over, as going to be Brother Rey and Alex Wright teaming up against the Triumvirate. So, backstage note here. So, obviously, Canyon and Eddie are both off TV for a bit, selling, the cage heat match. And, I've got other stuff going on for O'Hare, so this is sort of like our top big faces at the moment. And Bill Goldberg, I'm doing other stuff, even though, the dirt sheets would say, they just don't want him in a big main event angle overshadowing the world champion, which might not be entirely untrue. Regardless, from there, we go backstage, where we see Jason Jett, basically, backstage, talking to the camera, saying, "Oops, sorry, that's not what happens. I forgot there was an opening match here." Anyway, so we start off with actually a 4-way cruiserweight special, as we got Eli Skipper, Great Suzuki, Prince Osei, and Reckless Roberts all in the ring, and they're this is just a high spots opening cruiserweight match, a tradition unlike any other in professional wrestling, and these guys just fly out. Great Suzuki does his spots as he's here. Again, I wanted to push Suzuki, but he's not here for pay-per-views, and he chooses Pro over us, so he's just going to be doing these wacky spots until his contract runs out. That's unfortunate, but regardless, he comes in, he does spots, Osei does some heel work, Skipper flies around, Skipper and Osei work together a little bit on Suzuki, but eventually Roberts actually playing quasi-face against Osei and Skipper eventually gets avoids a Skipper attempt at a sort of rope walk into Arana, throws him to the outside of the ring, hits, and then hits Roberts. And it says with the frog fast, but he hits him basically with a modified Death Valley driver, and then picks up the pinfall over Great Suzuki. 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring to get a big pinfall here to open up Nitro. This gets a 63. Skipper gets a 56. Suzuki gets a 51. Osei gets a 52. Roberts gets a 53. Perfectly good opening match to set things up here. And then post-match, Robert celebrates to the boos of the crowd as the announcers over. That's a big win for him that'll rise him up the cruiserweight rankings. And then we cut backstage. We cut backstage to where Jason Jett is, and yeah, like I said, he's in front of the camera saying, tonight, a lot of people have asked me why I signed up for a match against Sean O'Haire. They tell me, he just won a gladiator match. He's a former world champion, and he's got you in every single physical attribute. But here's the thing, I'm money, and that's the damn point. Yeah, it's true, O'Haire's a former world champion, but he's just in a brutal match, and tonight, it's time for liftoff for Jason Jett as I shock the world and make everybody realize that this is my time. Perfectly solid promo, setting up a future match tonight where Sean O'Haire will take on Jason Jett. 69, actually a little better than I thought, but solid stuff as we move things forward. And then we go backstage. Okay. So here's the thing. Wright and Tori's promo skills aren't both the great, so I decided to put Bort on there, but I should have given them a script. So this only gets a 59. So basically, here is Bort is with Alex and Tori, and Bort asks him about the tag match tonight, and Wright says, "Competition is why I'm here, Borash, Jeremy. I've been a 3-time tag team champion, a cruiserweight champion, the television champion, and now I'm the United States champion. There's only one belt left for me to go over, and after tonight, it'll show Kidman why the U.S. champion is historically the automatic number 1 contender." And then Bort asks, are you ready to team up with Brother Rey tonight? And Tori steps in and says, Brother Rey is a great competitor, and we're happy to have a battle-tested fighter like him on our side. Look, we don't need to have some fancy team name, or Alex and Rey don't need to be best friends. Both of them know the job. And there's a bit of weariness as they walk away, but it looks like, Wright is ready to team with Brother Rey. And we're doing a quick gimmick changes because I realized he was there. So Terry Wilson's been a beach bae forever. That's not really her gimmick anymore. Now she's just smart female management, and gets an awful. Okay. God. Well, I'll see. I mean, it doesn't give any negatives, so I might just keep that around until I can do a redo, but, not the end of the world. And then go to our next match, which is Shane Helms and Titus Tomko teaming up after they got a big win over Reno Gigantes last night at Slamboree, taking on local talent and former Mikey Batts and Mark Briscoe, and they kill him in a little 3 minutes. I mean, this is basically Shane Helms is barely in the ring. This isn't just directing traffic as Tomko kills some folks, and then he hits the cutter. This gets a 44. Honestly, not as great as I thought. Tomko gets a 45, Helms gets a 79, Mikey Bat gets a 15, Mark Briscoe gets a 42, which is interesting. I might have to look at him to see if he's really ready to get signed, possibly to Developmental, honestly, because that's better than I thought. I mean, sure, he's over in this area, but that's interesting. So let's get the 44. They throw Briscoe into bats, and that's about the end of it. And post-match, Helms takes the mic as Titus gets a look scary as he says, "Last night we took care of old business. Now begins new business. I've got the baddest man in the wrestling business beside me. A man who has bodyguarded presidents, prime ministers, dictators, and billionaires. And together, sooner or later, WC officials will have to realize they're looking at the next tag team champions, and we don't give a damn who holds the belts, because they will just be another part of my legacy." Decent little post-match promo. Helms looks good, and this gets a 70. And then we basically cut backstage to a pre-tape where we have basically, we see Jarrett, Jindrak, and Divine leaving Slamboree last night and going out and partying in some various, DC clubs, bars. We see Jindrak, dancing with some beautiful women, Divine being kind of sleazy, Jarrett, playing his guitar because, he's still Jeff Jarrett. And then we cut to the suite, the next day in the suite, and we see sort of, Jarrett still playing with his guitar, but it looks like he's only has a guitar and nothing else on. And then we see sort of a lovely lady, probably a random, shall we say, entertainment worker, coming out and, saying, and getting a drink of water and saying, Mark was just marvelous last night. And Jarrett sort of raising his finger says, I don't know who you are, but that sounds great. Mark? Mark comes out of like part of the hotel room or hotel suite, in a robe, and Jarrett says, look, I'm the chosen one. Johnny Devine, he's just simply Johnny Devine. But Mark, you gotta be more. And this girl had the right idea. You're now marvelous, Mark Jindrak. And there we go. Fun little, because again, not quite ready to move them into their next feud, but I wanted to sort of set things up here. And here we are. So Mark Jindrak is now marvelous Mark Jindrak. Same basic gimmick, but honestly, I just thought of it. Or no, wait, it's not supposed to be marvelous. It's magnificent. Yeah, okay, sorry. Cut that out. The woman said he was simply magnificent, which makes sense, and then we do that whole thing. It's magnificent Mark Jindrak, not marvelous. And there, so, just a little fun, little goofy stuff. It gets an 84, puts Jindrak, Devine, and Jarrett over, and but still keeps them as sort of honestly, since Triumvirate are going to be on both shows, and probably not as much since Great American Bash is a Revolution show, not a Nitro show. They might be the top heel. Eddie just lost, Jarrett won, so they might be the top heels at the moment. Who knows? Anyway, this gets an 84. I was going to move forward to the next match, which is Sean O'Haire taking on Jason Jett. And here's the thing. Jason Jett looks solid. He does his best in this match, which probably would have been better if I forgot to attach a storyline to it. Regardless, anyway. And O'Haire looks solid. He does, he looks a little bit like Jett could get the win. And the end put over, he just went through a war last night against Jonathan Toro. Jason Jett hit some few hot moves, springboard dropkick, sort of like a springboard DDT, some couple big moves, but eventually, he goes to the wall way too often, and O'Haire catches up. Follow-away slam, power slam, lariat, big boot, snake eyes, another hot shot, and eventually it's Widowmaker time. 1, 2, 3, perfectly clean win right in the middle of the ring. As this gets a 69, O'Haire gets a 79, Jason Jett gets a 70, which is honestly pretty good. And yeah, let me just see. Was there anything? Yeah, just like associated storyline. Jett has some low morale, but what can you do about that? So yeah, perfectly solid stuff. Again, Jett's sort of in this weird position where he's not quite over enough to be in the main event picture, but he's too big to be a cruiserweight. And there's Wright, he just had a match with Wright for the US title not too long ago, so I'll need to figure out something for him to do, except sort of be a jobber to the stars. Post-match, O'Haire celebrates as the Emperor's put over again his big win tonight, and it seems that he's refocused the rise back to the top of the world here in professional wrestling. Let's hit that again. There we go. And then we come back for commercial, and then Goldberg's music hits to a big face pop as announcers put over. He had a huge night at Slamboree, making Don Price submit to a rear naked choke right in the middle of the ring. And Goldberg takes the mic and he says, "Last night was a war, but I came out on top because I go in this ring to fight and never ever think I'm going to lose. Don Fry, you got lucky once, but last night I proved why I'm the man. Now though, I'm on the bigger and better things. Every time I get in this ring in front of you fans, I will prove I'm the man. And there's nobody better in this business." And then Goldberg walks out again to a big pop. Don't want to quite set up his new feud quite yet. But just 100 promo. Honestly, kind of just cheesing this to get a slightly higher rating for the show. But hey, this was something they would do. Goldberg got a big win on pay-per-view. Comes out to be, praised, get a big pop as the crowd wanted to see him. And again, if this is the real world, I'd probably then have a post-show match where he kills some random jobber, but I just didn't want to do that. And then we have basically going backstage, where we see, Ric Flair sort of, hanging out, backstage, talking to some random people. Maybe we get a cameo from Arn Anderson here, but then we see Toland Leppan and Tank Toland, no Don Marie here, walking up to him, and Tank basically says, "Look, right, Flair, we get it. You want to pretend it's something more, but you can just admit it. You came back and you're scouting these tag teams. But you know that the most exciting international athlete in the business today, and myself, the sexiest man in WCW, are the future of this business. So look, just admit you want to be our manager. Flair sort of looks at them blankly, and Leppan steps in and says, "Look, Dawn's fine with it, really. She's cool with older guys, but she'll really want to know if you're a 60-minute man, if you get what I'm saying." And Flair sort of smirks and says, "Look, the oldest rad is still the longest line for a reason. Here's the deal, though. Toland, Leppan, both of you, show up next week, and you'll get the Nature Boy's answer." Woo! So here we go. Sets something up for next week where Ric Flair will have his answer to Rey Leppan and Tank Toland for whether or not he will be their manager. And this gets a 79. Fun stuff as we continue this angle. And then we have the debut of Kai Graves and Trevor Rhodes. Comes out at WCW Jobber, and Kai Graves kills him in 2 minutes. I forgot to change Kai Graves' finisher to something else, because Thunder Spike almost works. Honestly, I might just slightly reword it, because I like the spike part of it. But he kills Trevor Rhodes in 2 minutes. It gets a 27 because unfortunately they didn't click. I could have thrown the storyline. Again, that's one thing. I played this game 18 million hours, and it's still the dumb stuff I forget to do, throwing the storylines on here. But regardless, fun stuff. Yeah. And then, of course, Kai Graves throws him around, kills him as the entrance put over. He had a huge debut last night, defeating Raven, helping Morningstar get a big win over his opponents. And then Morningstar is in the ring, and, Graves stands beside him. And Graves takes the mic and says, "I promised, and despite what many of you may have thought, I delivered. The darkness is thriving once again because the message has been delivered. A prophet never lies, especially when he knows what the truth is. You see, the reality is, Raven, you deceived the world into thinking you know the truth when you've always been just lost into a haze of your own making. Last night, I debuted a new implement of darkness. And he's shown he is a proper monster to be aimed the way the message says. But the question is, where will I go next? And here is the reality. I've been entrusted with a new instrument of destruction to wipe Raven away and reclaim Messias for a final assault to remake Nitro in the image of the message. And no one will stand against us." 95, really good promo. Morningstar is great, and there we go. And again, the funny thing is, this isn't quite 1.0 Bray Wyatt wackiness, but it's getting there. But I enjoy booking it, and it's sort of in its own world for the moment. Even though I hope in a couple months to sort of break that a little bit, but we'll just have to see. And then we go backstage where Jeremy Borash has find Brother Ray in the bowels of the arena, and he basically asks him what's going on, and Brother Ray's pacing around and says, "I got no reason to be in the main event. I got outsmarted, outgunned by an idiot who used to think he was a country music star, because I've forgotten what I truly am. I talk about the streets and that I came from. But look, you know what this business is, Jeremy. I've got a nice house. I cash big checks every 2 weeks. I got a cool car in the parking lot that I rent. My kids are going to good schools. I've got to return to the roots. To when I rode 5 to a car to shows 100 people in them, not knowing if I get paid or I'd have to be happy with some free nachos, and even then, bleeding, getting sent through tables, going into my real job 5 days a week with black guys and welts, because I love this business and I wanted to be on the top. Borash, I gotta get to the battle days to remind everybody what I'm capable of. No more Mr. Nice Ray. 82, decent promo. I only set it for 4 minutes and no angle attached, but we'll see how it goes. And then we have a match, sort of. These guys are just too fucking good. KAZ is the one guy in the series that I've had on since 2001 that the internet would despise me Like, because he's a freaking great worker in game, and like, I mean, he's having these great matches, but like, he's not like, I mean, the reality is like, unless something really weird happens, like, I'm not sure he'll ever be a main event guy, even when he's pushing out 87, just because of the character side. Regardless, it's KAZ and Teddy Hart, and Kaio and Hurt Legacy are still fighting, you know, probably partly because of what happened at Slamboree, as both men, you know, both teams think they could have been the champions without the other involved. So the fight continues. It says Stacy Keibler is at ringside, but she's not. Like, she got taken out, and again, writing her out because she has a TV show to tape. But yeah, this match is great. It's 11 minutes. They steal the show. It's Teddy Hart selling. It's KAZ flying around. It's KAZ kicking fools. It's Teddy Hart doing a wacky dive that, you know, nobody knows the name of. It's KAZ killing fools. And eventually Teddy Hart goes for one more twisty moonsault too much, and KAZ gets out of the way, kicks his head in, and gets the 1-2-3 victory here on Nitro. As a big win for KAZ, KAZ gets an 87, Teddy Hart gets a 78. Good stuff. And then, of course, post-match, we have a fight between all four teams between all four men before WC officials come out and break it up, and that gets a 68. And then we have a quick promo by Replay focusing on Cage Heat, the main event, and Assault of Anarchy. And then we have our main event. Now, this could really bomb because I don't think I've ever teamed up like Kidman and Amos, and obviously Alex Wright and Brother Ray have never teamed. I'm going to guess like an 86. Okay, 84. Okay, that's like, yeah, not too bad. Unfortunately, no really great like chemistry notes, but no bad ones either. I mean, and this is a solid main event segment. Like, Brother Ray goes after Kidman and Awesome and get Ray brawl for a while. Wright and Kidman have a solid in-ring match. Eventually, Wright plays, face in peril, getting double teamed. Kidman actually hits the Kid Crusher on Wright, but Brother Ray makes a save. Things break down. Eventually, Brother Ray does get the hot baby face tag. He goes wild, but eventually, cheat. Things break down. Wright is eventually the legal man. As Awesome in, Brother Ray clotheslines out Kidman out, but then Kidman, after April Hunter distracts him, nails him with a belt shot on the outside. That distracts Alex Wright. Mike Awesome takes advantage. Kick, wham, awesome bomb. 1, 2, 3 on the United States champion. As the heels get the victory here. 84. Brother Ray gets an 86. Alex Wright gets a 72. Mike Awesome gets an 85. Billy Kidman gets an 87. And post-match, the Triumvirate, this only gets a 69 because it's 3 minutes. And because I actually rated everybody, just sort of like as a post-match thing, as the announcers really put over, they might be the elite group in the business at the moment. I'm going to say, okay, 89. Okay, so basically, KAZ Hart, Goldberg's promo, and Morningstar's promo kind of saved me. Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, here's the reality is, like, we're doing pretty well here. And, like, that was a show without Eddie, without Canyon, having basically 2 squashes on TV, having, like, sort of, like, a mid-carder, like, Brother Ray's, like, sort of, like, a fringe main event. So, yeah, I mean, that was the fact we got, I mean, honestly, KAZ and Teddy, like, if they would have gotten 85, that show probably would have only been an 85 or 86 regardless. Still fun stuff. As we load here, and Samoa Joe does not have a picture. That's interesting. And yeah, Joe's solid, but I think he's signed for Noah. Anyway, let's see here. Yeah, CZK left to be in film her TV show, and yeah, this I'm a mess. But I have other goals that'll hopefully pop up. Let's see here. Anything of note else here? Nope. So let's look at what Raw did. Okay. Triple H cut a promo on Edge. Shawn Michaels attacked Brock Lesnar. Veronica Vane, who's of course the former Jordan Cole, defeats Elizabeth Love in a 61. Taker interview or an interview on Schaefer Scott Vick. Austin interview, real promo. Jericho defeated Maven. Kane promo. Foley promo. Shane McMahon promo. Vampiro promo. Top Shelf defeated Devon Dubois. Sat in Al Snow by DQ. I guess they've broken up. That's the they're not using Benjamin. This gets an 80. Only Hall College defeated New Clinic Dog Collar match. 73, and Wilbur Regal defeated Randy Orton in the main event. Well, not the main event. This Edge Division Pros in 99. So they get a 94 because they can throw out random 90. God, look, I get why the game does it, but like, and I'm upset a bit as other people are about it. But it is a little annoying, just a little bit. Anyway, though, So overall, let's look at our TV. So Paramount, we got 3.22 for them, and we got a 2.88. So still pretty close, but they have a distinct advantage still. Yeah, okay, so she'll be out for 1 to 3 months. So yeah, I might figure out something to do with Nikayo. I'll see if there's anybody available who maybe I can do as a temporary. Anyway, you guys don't care about that, so I'll be back in just a moment with Revolution. Okay, now welcome everybody to Revolution, live from the beautiful Verizon Arena in Little Rock, Arkansas, not Arena. What am I saying? As her show starts out with, of course, Chuck Palumbo coming out on his motorcycle with Raven Reign, and he is very, very upset about what happened at Slamboree. He, says, there's a lot of BS in this business, and last night was just another bit of it, and it proves how everybody in WCW is in my way, and Slamboree only shows that everybody is worried about me rising to my correct place in this business. Now you, Monty Brown, who comes on and says, you know about people being scared of you? Palumbo, you were on that show, and you lost. Me, they didn't even want the alpha male on pay-per-view wrecking whoever would be in front of him. I was like, no, they didn't want you on pay-per-view because you weren't ready, Monty. I was ready to rise to the top, to earn a shot at the title. But you got in my way, along with Styles, and took that away from me. And Monty said, and they start to argue, and then, na-na-na-na, na-na-na-na-na. Burger gets a big pop, and, he's actually happy along Shabal. He says, Suckers, you just gotta know where you stand. And last night, Palumbo, I showed you your proper place. And after last night, it's time for me to become a seven-time. Q, AJ come in and says, look, nothing personal, Booker. But, yeah, I came out last night because Monty was going to involve in that match, and I helped you out. And Monty Brown, you tried to take me out of this business a couple weeks ago. And I'm going to go my revenge on you. And hey, Chuck, if you want to get my way again, I'll wrestle you, or even Booker. I respect you, man. We faced off in the MAM tournament before, and I beat you, and I can defeat you again. Because this is my time now as well. And they start arguing, because about the fight, and Q Teddy Long says, look, tonight's a big night for Revolution. We got America's Most Wanted, former tag champs making their debut. We got Rob Van Dam, the former world champion, making his debut as a member of Revolution. But tonight, we need the main event. Brother, let's make this a tag match. So, but not the tag match you think. You see? Chuck Palumbo, you're right. You lost last night, and I don't need you in the main event because you think you're going to cause a scene. Monty Brown, you were on the pay-per-view last night, but hey, that was a co-branded pay-per-view. There's only so much space, and you lost in the tournament. But tonight, you find a partner, and AJ, you're still not clear. So, Booker, you find a partner. And we'll have a tag team match play. 94, tag team main event set up, and there we go. So, not too bad. Palumbo was terrible, but hey, what can you do? Oops, let's actually move this forward. And we cut backstage where Amy Weber, main interview, is with Rob Van Dam. And, he asks, she basically welcomes RVD officially to Revolution full time. And, Van Dam's like, he's calling me. Like, I understand. Last month, the, powers that be let me have a month to get ready for a rematch after what happened. But, Billy Quinn defeated me last night. And I'm not happy about losing the title, but I can get refocused and get back in that ring tonight. The guy what's his name? Amy tells him it's Chris Roxy. Yeah, Roxy's a young guy, but he can't overlook anyone. And then he looks to the side again. As we sort of hear like a ringing, and he starts talking, and it rings again and says, look, Amy, I'm sorry, can we retape this? And Amy's like, Rob, we're live. And Rob says, look, this is bad timing, but you'll see me in the ring, and you see I'm still RVD, and then he walks away and grabs a phone that's like cell phone that's nearby, so it looks clunky, and answers it, and Amy looks confused. And then we have our opening match as Jamie Noble and Ken Anderson, of course, fought enough that they got thrown off the pay-per-view show, which has nothing to do with the fact that I had too many matches, nothing else. So now they have a tag team match as Ken Anderson has Paul London as a partner, and Jamie Noble comes out with Cash for the entrance over for having a tough US title match. And it's back and forth, and eventually London hits a big dive on Cash and takes both men out, but that distracts Ken Anderson just long enough as Anderson does his Ken Anderson stuff, doing some power moves and stuff. But eventually Noble hits a low blow, rolls him up, keeps the tights, and gets the pinfall victory over Ken Anderson, continuing their feud as this gets an 81. Paul London gets an 84 because he's awesome. Ken Anderson gets a 63. Cash gets an 80, and Jamie Noble gets a freaking 85. Match got the crowd louder, and London's gimmick is getting stale, so I'll note that and fix that after the show. And post-match, London and Cash start brawling. Post-match, they're sort of arguing at the top of the ramp as, the ref tries to get between them as Noble celebrates his ill-gotten win. This gets a 73. And it looks like we have a new feud going on. And then we go backstage, where we see Captivation backstage. Of course, that's Lexi James, Angel Fox, and Lizzie Dumas. Lizzie basically asks them what happened last week with the tag title match. I made a deal with the European Disunion. We were going to work together, and now they're not happy that you didn't take out the social scene before they could make a problem. And Fox is like, what's the issue here? They won the match. What happens after? Then we came out after the match. It's not a big deal. And look, I get it. But Lizzie, where the hell have you been the past couple weeks? And Lizzie's like, look, I have other responsibilities. I thought I could trust you two. We're working together for a reason, because we want to be at the top of the division. And then Lexi fires and says, and look where we are. Look, Angel and I have been Women's World Champion. Something you still haven't done here at WCW. And Lacey's about to say, yes, not WCW, but... And Angel's like, come on, we both know what's happened in other places is not as important as here. Be honest with yourself. But here's the thing. Lexi and I still have a hell of a respect for you, otherwise we wouldn't be working with you. We're Captivation for a reason, so let's actually show everybody in that ring why we would be the top of the women's division. They agree, and it looks like there's a little bit of tension here, but it looks like the heels, these three women are back on the same page as this gets a 58. And then we have America's Most Wanted making their official Revolution debut, as of course there was tag champs to start the draft, so start the brand split, but since they lost tag titles to a team that was on Revolution, they're on Revolution. And this is just a squash match over Alvin Cuthill and Ryan Taylor, just total squash, 3 minutes. 8-second Wright gets a 61, Taylor gets a 20, Cuthill gets a 16, Chris Hart gets 77, James Storm gets an 83, and yeah, just total squash of local talent. And then, of course, they take the mic and says, last night was back on Sunday was a toughest hell night for us. And look, it was chaos. There were tables, there was chairs, I think there was a kendo stick, I don't remember. Maybe James Mike says, yeah. Last night, Sunday was a incredible match. It'll be a match that will be remembered here at WCW for a long, long time. And look, we'd be even better if we were still the tag champions. But not everything can go the way we want. Sometimes it's just that way, as my mom said. But Storm and Austin, I bet you feel great. You feel foiled yourself that you're untouchable. But we're still here, right here on Revolution. So if you think you're going to keep those belts logs, boys, and they step in, sorry about your damn luck. So 72, decent promo. They both roll badly on the script, but hey, what can you do? But still, so this isn't quite done, So of course my big tag team match didn't actually finish anything. That's why you don't have that many tag teams. And then we go backstage where Keaton Sharp, of course, who's been not involved in much these past few weeks, walks into Monty's locker room, and Monty's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And Sharp puts his hands up. Look, I come in peace. I know I'm on the path, and so are you, but you don't know it. Now, I'm not going to ask you to follow him, but we can walk together tonight, because I need to remind everyone to walk the path behind me. And you have your own things you need to do, Brown. And Monty sort of looks him over and says, okay, and? I know, and you know, we can walk a path of destruction tonight, tear apart Booker and whomever he finds to team with him, and show that you belong at the top, and I'll be there with you soon enough. So will you walk with me? And Monty's like, I'll team with you, but that's it. And then there's, and then Keenan walks away, sort of like happy with that. And Monty just sort of says, lots of damn fools here. 79, and we have our tag team, at least half of our tag team main event. And then we have the match set up basically the past couple weeks. Of course, Alli Dangers attacked All That Alyssa Alexander out of nowhere. And now we have this match, which I sort of did as a test of the women's division. Because here's the thing. On our Dev Fed, the women, as a result, all, our women who have come to the Dev Fed, all have, great, have pretty good to, great psychology. So I just want to see what happened if I actually had them, work a crowd and actually call the match. And look, they did pretty good. So back in, pretty, perfectly solid, back and forth match. Not that much to it. Not nothing too fancy, Danger hits hair shots, Alexander hits a big spine buster, some big power moves, a couple suplexes, Danger fires back, but eventually, Danger sends Alexander into exposed turnbuckle, does a roll up, 1, 2, 3, and picks up the victory here. This gets 58. Danger gets a 43. Alexander gets a 52. And was there anything else? Yeah, so nothing bad for the calling, so that was good. And post-match, of course, Alli Dangers celebrates as the answers put over. This does not look like it's over so far. And then out comes the Triumvirate. And honestly, they sort of cut the same promo as they've done before. Putting over, what they did at Assault of Anarchy, defeating Rob Van Dam, etc., etc. And then, Booyaka, 619. And out comes Rey Jr. to a big pop. And Rey's like, I'm going to be honest here. I wish I was facing RVD for the title. But, it is what it is. Everybody knows our history, Kidman. But that's not what this is about anymore. I'm the number one contender. And I want to prove to everybody who's ever doubted me in this business that I can rise to the top and become the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. And Kidman's like, look, Rey, that's fine. Talked along. And he'll set up the match at Great American. And Rey's like, no. I won the number one contendership. And part of that contract, which you agreed to as the world champion automatically, was I get the title match. Went after Slamboree, not wait until Great American Bash. So next week, right here on Revolution, there's going to be a world title match. You beat RVD, but you're not going to get past me. And Kidman looks like he's upset, but everyone rubs his shoulders and everything. And then the says, "Fine, look, that's even better because that means I can kick your ass, and then we can take a long vacation. I can take a long vacation with April, and not be worried about any of you morons in this crowd." So next week, American Bash, tonight, whenever. I'm the world champion for a reason, and Rey, at the end of the day, here's somebody who sells a lot of masks to kids. And there's a face-off, as the answers put over. It's a big match next week. Rey Jr. versus Billy Kidman for the WCW World Championship, as this gets a 97. Good stuff. And then we cut backstage where Emmy Weber is at sort of a backstage party where we see some, people milling about, some women, some lower card wrestlers, maybe some indie workers. And, everybody seems like having a good time. There's some music. And Weber's sort of confused what's going on when Annie Vidal and Nikki Radcliffe, the social scene, shows up. And Weber asks her, what's going on. Says, and Nikki's like, this is what me and Annie do. Wherever we go, there's a party. But last night, we also wanted to show what we do in the ring. So that's why we came out and helped Lila and Remy, because it was the right thing to do, but also if it can happen to them, it can easily happen to us. So Disunion, we're watching for you. Captivation, we'll take you on too if you want to get in our way. Because we want to be the party, we want to make the party, and the way the party never stops is if we're at the top of the wrestling world. But for now, let's get back to the fun. And Amy is like, looks great, but I gotta work, and I'm trying to find something. And let's get to 51, again, just sort of building their storyline, building their character, all that fun stuff. And then we have our RVD officially is no longer part of the World Television, at least for the moment, match, as he just, basically squashes Bro Down or Chris Roxy in 434 by pinfall with 5-star flag splash. This gets a 70, RVD gets an 89, Roxy gets a 39. Fun stuff. And here's the thing is, actually have something to do with Roxy. Like the whole like Ramadan thing was great for a couple weeks, but now like I gotta rework them. But I have some ideas. And post match, RVD celebrates to the cheers of the crowd. He gets 72 as the announcers put him over as a big part of Revolution. And then we have the Truth coming out as the announcers put over. He said he wanted a TV title match here this week, and he's so happy and says the truth is Teddy Long still hasn't got me as a TV champion about my match, and I want to defend in this ring for this crowd tonight. Teddy Long coming out and says, "Look, brother, there's a lot going on tonight. RVD was here. AMW debuted. A lot of your possible opponents were busy with other matches, but I found somebody willing to take you on. So, Little Rock, do you want to see a TV title defense tonight?" Crowd popped because, of course, TV, they want a match. And then out comes Storm to a mostly heel pop, but hey, still getting a title pop, so yay. And the match is on, and this gets a 79. And so the Truth defends his title against Lance Storm. It's back and forth. It's technical. Truth does a little bit of brawling. Truth goes for Truth consequences early, but Storm gets out of it. Storm tries to lock him in the Canadian Maple Leaf, but Truth powers out of it. Big moves, back and forth, but eventually, Truth goes for another Truth or consequence. Storm rolls, gets out of it, sends Truth into the corner. Rolling reverse cradle. Leans back. Holds tight. 1, 2, 3. Lance Storm is your new World Television title. 75. Truth gets a 75. Storm gets an 88. Going to guess this was, Lucky from Associated Storyline. But a big moment here as the Truth's reign ends. And Lance Storm is now a double champion. As this gets a 68 as a post-match celebration. And I have some ideas to do with the Triumvirate. Here's the thing. If you don't like Kidman, if you don't like Lance Storm, if you don't like Mike Awesome, if you don't like the character that put with them over the past few months, might not like the next few weeks of TV, is all I'm going to say. And then we basically cut backstage where Amy Weber is trying to approach RVD again, and she sort of like leans into his locker room, and she sees RVD on the phone. He says, and we hear sort of Rob saying, "Yeah, I know, but your contract, really? Okay, but man, look, we had some tough ties, bro, and I don't know if it's I understand totally, and I thank you, but okay, I mean, if you're going to show up, we'll talk, but." And then Amy Weber steps away as she notices RVD putting the phone down and looking around as it gets to 67. So who is RVD on the phone with? Sorry. And then hey, turns out these girls are over. So Tricia Skye's music comes out and she gets a huge pop as she puts over, she had a very tough match against Joey Lawler last night, and Joey Lawler's a great competitor, one of the best women's wrestlers in the world, but she's proved last night she's just that much better. And that means one thing. It's time for her to become WCW Women's World Champion once again. She wants her shot at the title. Gail Kim coming out, and Gail's like, "Tricia, you're right. You had a very tough match last night, but I got in the ring, I proved everybody wrong, as I'm still the Women's World Champion." And Tricia's like, "Yeah, after you saved your title before. And Gail, you've done great so far. But the sky's the limit now here for the women's division, and I need to be at the top of it." And Gail sort of like, "Well, you're going to find out pretty soon. I'm still the head bitch in charge of women's wrestling here in WCW. And you're just going to be another fallen star." They face off, and it looks like we have a match made for Great American Bash, and it might just be our first. Tricia Skye versus Gail Kim. I hope I just did it. Let's actually save that. WCW World Championship. There we go. Pre-book. And this gets to 99 because these women are great. I probably didn't do my best job there, but hey, sometimes stuff happens. And then we have our main event as Sharp Monty Brown comes up, and then Ron Simmons comes out with his partner, Booker T. Pop for that, and honestly, this is just sort of Here's the thing, I just didn't want to do like Booker and AJ versus Simmons versus Monty and Palumbo, and I thought a 6-man wouldn't quite work. So this is just, I don't want to say like a throwaway main event, but like, Booker and Monty go after each other. There's a pot for that. Simmons gets some offense in, but he eventually gets wrecked by Monty. And ending of the match is Monty hits the pounce on Simmons, but Booker T goes after him. They start brawling, and Sharp is able to come in and lock in a sort of like, wacky MMA submission on Simmons, and with nowhere to go, Ron Simmons has to tap out as Keenan Sharp gets the big win here on pay-per-view. I mean, not pay-per-view, but on Revolution. This is an 81. Booker T gets an 88. Simmons gets a 63. Monty Brown gets an 86. Sharp gets a 71. Still deserved better color commentator, but we'll hope Savage gets a little better. And, as everybody is, as the heels celebrate, the announcers put over a big moment for this, but then all of a sudden, we cut backstage where Teddy Long is being led out by various referees and backstage worker Dusty Rhodes and Johnny Ace to the outside of the ring, to the parking lot, where Rey Mysterio Jr. is laid out on the windshield of a nice Cadillac, but it's a broken windshield, and Rey is like not whimpering, but like he's like obviously laid out. There's glass all over, and it looks like Rey Jr. has been taken out. Now we don't see the Triumvirate around, but like Teddy's Long is yelling, "Find those," and we get a bleep right now, and we're going to figure this out. And we end the show as officials and medical people come out, put Rey, help Rey off the windshield, and we close the show that Rey Mysterio Jr. has been taken out, likely by the Triumvirate, but there's no proof quite yet. 78, and the show itself gets us an 88. Okay. Good stuff, and yeah, so you might have to guess there probably not going to be a world title match next week. Well, we'll see. Rey might want to fight through it, but who knows? But yeah, fun stuff there. Like, we're building some new stuff, continuing some, except for the women's world title match, starting with London Cash, doing some stuff on the women's undercard, so fun stuff. As you can see, I have a little more stuff going on for Revolution because they're the next pay-per-view, and I'm not quite sure what to do with Bash at the Beach. I mean, with Nitro, because we got 2 months. Again, that's the one thing I have some sympathy for Tony Khan about, is booking 8 weeks between pay-per-view cycles is difficult. Now, here's the difference. I'm playing a game, and he's a son of a millionaire who could probably do monthly pay-per-view, so, or at least 6 weeks. Anyway, Miss Jones' contract is ending. I'm sorry, we had that fun angle with you and with Ernst Miller for a while, but yeah, not much. Billy, you're the world champion, man. I'm sorry. You're going to be busy for a while. Goldberg, that's mean. That's very mean. Bill. Very mean. Anyway. Storyline wise, okay, so Get the Darkness is at a 74. Cruiser Stuff's at a 63. Evolution is a Mystery is at 56. Expensive Taste is at an 89. Jesus Christ. I'm just have these guys in random great matches forever, I guess. Helm's Legacy, which is basically over, but I just need to refocus, at a 69. Beautiful Violence is at a 51. Cash In on London, which started at a 73. Disney Universe Disorder is at 59. Lovable Jerks at an 81. Revolution Rising, which is just our main event, is at an 81. Ray's Chance at Glory, which still includes RVD just because I wanted to have something for him for storyline, is at a 94. Triumvirate Rising, which is our tag feud, and I guess now our TV title feud, is at a 75. Who's in Charge, which still makes sense for Gail and Tricia, even as it made sense for Gail and Celine Cartier, is at an 86. And Women at War, which I'm going to remove Joni from, is at a 67. Sort of moved her because she, yeah. So that'll be interesting. So yeah. That's the show. So again, if you just watch for what I book, you can go on from here. But now we're going to look around the wrestling world. So we got WWE. So let's see here. Their show history. So So where I showed you Raw, but for SmackDown we had Triple H leaving Edge lying, Theory defeating Veronica Vane, William Regal defeating Maven in 82, Jericho segment, McMahon segment, Molly segment, Orton segment, Crispin Wall defeating Ron Robertman, Steiner defeating Hall defeating Christian, Saturn and Snow in 77, Molly Holly defeating Amber James, a few random the past Amber O'Neil, or is that her name? Hold on. Now I feel like that was not her name in WCW. Was it? Hold on. Now I feel. Well, it's not going to pull up her match history regardless. Oh, yeah, there it is. It was Amber. Okay, it was Amber O'Neil. I thought so, but I just wanted to double check. Anyway, Kurt Angle defeat JBL in Random 99, and it's going to be weird when I have to figure out what character used JBL as a face under. And a main event of Edge and Brock defeated Triple H and Chris Jericho in 99, because of course it was. So now, if we look at what our dev feds did, so we had a TV show. Let's see here. Ortiz and Daz defeated Kent Cole and Matt Morgan. Matt Morgan's slowly getting there. Other people, Kishin Kiwata, Trevor Rhodes and Strowman defeat Matt Cross, Siaki, and Rain Man. Again, like sort of some of our newer dev feds people. Rick Michaels defeated Chance Prophet, and Suicidal Tendency defeated Kai Graves and Claudio. I think this was Kai's last match. You can see he's got a 51 there, so. But I think maybe he had a house show match. Let's see. Cassidy O'Reilly defeated Ryan Drago, which is random. Ken Cole defeated Chance Prophet by DQ. Matt Cross defeated Dagan Briggs, so that was his last match. Okay, and then other stuff involving people who are not actually signed by us, but was signed by Wildside. Let's see here. And then if we go to first HWA, we have HW Weekly. Salvatore Dom-Selli defeated Silas Young and Andre Shearer, who's a regen. Darren Corbin, who's a different Corbin than you think, defeated Billy Bax. Jimmy Jacobs and Andy Douglas and Dustin Lee defeated Alex Shelley, Barry Brownburn, who's a regen, and Jorge Estrada. Honestly, Shelley and Douglas are two people who, if the AI worked better, they would move into OW. Ricky Shane Page and Dan Roddenberry defeated Corey Castle and Excalibur. Perfectly fine stuff. And Joel Grunge, who's a regen, defeated Drew Onyx. And then if we go to OVW, we had, for the weekly loop, we had John Morrison defeat John Cena. Maybe a future main event for WWE in this world. Chuck Taylor defeated Taylor Park Trash. Capitello defeated Shark Boy and Sean Casey and Rory Fox. AJ Sparks defeated Bloody Phoenix. Sure. Riptide defeated Evelyn Chambers. Chantel Teller defeated Shiara Stock. Bradley Imputer defeated Chaggy and Tommy Mamaluke. Sure, that's a match in 63. Lizzie Borden defeated Miss Natural and Joey Matthews defeated Rob Conway. And then for the other OVW, we had, let's see here, Ross defeat John Cena. Isaiah and Mitch Page defeat Chaggy Judo and Tony Mamaluke. Danny Dory and Trent Baker defeat Chemo and Too Tough Tony. Okay. Bradley Imputer defeat the A Squad and Chantel Teller defeat Lizzie Borden in the main event. Fun stuff. And then, let's see here. Any other big shows? I totally showed you guys in Japan. I think, yeah, I totally remember that. Right, because it happened on Thursday. So I always forget, like, what actually happened. So let me go back to the news. As far as matches. Come on. There we go. Okay. Right, was there any other big shows that I forgot to show you guys? And the answer is not really. Oh shit, I totally forgot about. See, these are the things you actually forget. Is AWQ had a show, of course, which I did not show you guys. So yeah, Arrow got upper hand with the brawl with Kim Nielsen, who's Desire. Michelle McCool defeated Carla Chambers, who's a graduate of PowerPoint, who we signed to the region. We had ODP and 100% Girls defeat Amazing Kong and Omega Woman by DQ. ODB's slowly getting there. Again, if we had a bigger, like, I don't know. Like, there's going to be some women who we're just not going to be able to bring up to the main roster because there's no space, who will be ready. Non-gay partners defeat Tracy Taylor and Ariel. Speaking of that, like, Ariel's getting 67s. But, like, I don't know, like, if or when I'll be able to bring her up. Because, like, here's the thing. She's very good in ring, but her charisma and microphone are meh. Star quality, same thing. So she might be somebody who I just sort of let leave after when her contract runs out and just see what she does in the wilder world. Regardless, if we go back to here, okay, so after that, yeah, Gaia had a big show, main evented by Inoue and Inoue. Double Inoue defeated Miko Satomura and Nagayo in a cage match. We got a 68, and Momo Nakanishi versus Rei Tamada in a 74. Let's see here. CZW had Best of the Best, main evented by Bruiser Mastino defeated Balls Mahoney. Sure. Sandman versus Jerry Sags in a first blood match. And Johnny Casimir versus Johnny Zandig. Because, of course. Yeah, CZW is very weird because it's basically all old ECW guys. And the CW guys of the time. And Onita working on the pre-show because the game can't quite get how Onita would be a big deal. Let's see here. Anything else, really? Yeah, nope, that's about it. I'm sure there's something that I'm blanking on. But hey, as always, I'll just show it to you guys next week over again. But hey, that's it for now. Today, rather. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and give a like. Comment below when you're liking and not liking. And of course, subscribe to the channel for plenty of TEW 2020 content. And of course, along with everything else I'm doing for this month of content. But that's it for now. So talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.